أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. أما بعد. Welcome back to the Umdat Al-Fiqh series. We are going through the Hanbali Fiqh and we are going through Al-Mu'amalat, the chapters that have to do with dealings. We know that there are ibadat, acts of worship, tahara, purification, salah, prayer, zakat, etc. And now we are up to the mu'amalat. We went through a big chunk, alhamdulillah, to do with marriage, divorce, and the things associated with it. And inshallah azza wa jal, we continue from Kitab al-At'ima, the book of foods. Again, this is summarized. Umdat Al-Fiqh is a summarized Hanbali book. It's a very, very, very simplified, easy to understand fiqh book. And if a person has to explain to them very simply, which is what we're trying to do, inshallah they'll have a good understanding of the basic rulings. But obviously, if a person wants to get up in levels, then the information is going to be a lot more deeper, which will take a lot longer. So inshallah azza wa jal, maybe in the upcoming years we can get to those types of things. Ibn Qudama rahmatullah alayhi says, وهي نوعان, meaning the food. هي نوعان حيوان وغيره. فأما غير الحيوان فكله مباح. إلا ما كان نجسا أو مدرا كالسموم. They are of two types, food. It's of two types, animals and others. That which is other than from animals. As for all foods other than animals, they are permissible, except for that which is filthy, najas, or harmful, such as poisons. You have here when it says animals, talking about the animal itself, the meat of the animal itself, not the byproduct of the animal like milk. Okay, this is talking about the animal itself, the meat of the animal itself, or that which is not from an animal, or sorry, that which is not an animal itself, like the byproduct, like the milk, or that which grows, for example, on trees, any plants, fruits, chocolate, anything that you can think of, besides that you can eat, besides that of an animal. All of that which is from other than an animal itself is halal. That's the general rule. All of it is halal unless it is najis. It is impure. So if something is impure, then obviously we are not allowed to eat it. From the luhum, we know that which is najis is, for example, khinzir. We're not allowed to eat pig. We're not allowed to eat something which is allowed for us, but it's not slaughtered Islamically correct. Okay, maita, like if someone was to hit with their car a deer and it died, are they allowed to eat it? No, even though you're allowed to eat deer, but because it wasn't slaughtered Islamically, you're not allowed to eat it. Or that which is najis, okay, that which is impure, even from that which is not from the meats, obviously you're not allowed to eat it also. People aren't allowed to drink, like some people in some areas, they drink like urine and the like. This is not allowed. Then you have things which are harmful. This word harmful can easily be misunderstood today, because there are a lot of things, especially that which is sugary or that which is extremely fatty or whatever it may be. Does that automatically become haram? No. What it's talking about, and he gives a very good example, kasumum, that which is poison. A person has rat poison. If it's not from meat, does that mean it's halal? It's not najas? Can I have it? No. Why? Because it's harmful. We're talking about something which is harmful, and its harm is effective immediately or very soon. Not something that will harm you over tens of years. Now, something that will harm you straight away. This is what it's talking about, for it to be harmful. والأشربة كلها مباح إلا ما أسكر فإنه يحرم كثيره وقليله. And all of the drinks are also permissible, except that which intoxicates, whether it is a large amount or a small amount. من أي شيء كان. It doesn't matter what it is from. It could be from dates, it could be from grapes, it could be from barley, it could be from wheat, it could be from fruit. Whatever intoxicates, it's not allowed. Some people, they think because a particular product is halal in and of itself, that if it's mixed in a certain way, then it's also halal. We don't have anyone from Fiji here, but like in some of the islands, they've got the kava, naam, and they think, this is just a root from the tree. What's the problem with it? But if you drink it, it intoxicates. So this is not allowed. This is not allowed. Same thing with some of the people that like marijuana. They tell you, Sheikh, this is halal. Why? Because it's from the earth. Allah Azza wa made it from the earth. They say, no, the rule is, yani, where did wine come from? Our wine came from grapes. Where did grapes? They're from the earth. Now, this intoxicates. What does intoxication mean? It means it covers the mind. Okay? It affects the mind. It affects the correct thinking of the mind. This is what it means to intoxicate. Whether it's a drink or it's a drug that you take or it's something that you smoke, whatever it may be. Now, if it intoxicates the mind, it plays with the correct thinking of the mind. This is called intoxication, Islamically speaking, and so it is not allowed. Doesn't matter what its source is from. Tayyib. If something is intoxicating in a large amount, then even a small amount of it is haram. So, for example, if a person was to drink a bottle of wine, obviously he knows he's going to get drunk. But a person might say, Akhi, if I have one glass at dinner, just for my enjoyment, I'm not going to get drunk. So what's the issue? We say that which intoxicates in large amounts is haram, even in small amounts. So for that kava drink, or a little bit of marijuana, or a little bit of wine, or a little bit of beer, or any other intoxicating matter, this is not allowed. This is not allowed. Some people, I've heard them say, yani, it's just a little bit, it's not going to be effective, it's not going to cause me problems. All of it is haram. How do you know where the limit is? Because you have some foods and some drinks that may have a dot of alcohol in it. So are these things haram, yes or no? You have the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam where he said, كل مسكر حرام وما أسكر منه الفرق فملء الكف منه حرام. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave you a measure to know what you can and cannot have from that which is intoxicating. Every intoxicant is haram, and that which will intoxicate in the amount of a faraq. A faraq is a vessel which is approximately 10 liters. Approximately 10 liters. So if a faraq, okay, a vessel, if you were to have a drink, 10 liters or less, if it will intoxicate you, then this is haram. It's haram. Examples, so it becomes clearer. Abi, where are Aussie friends? They're not here. He doesn't look like he looks like a nice and clean. He's like a wine person. If a person, for example, was to have 1 B, okay, yani average, for example, 500 mils, are you going to get drunk? 1 B? You're not going to get drunk off 1 B. 2 Bs, 1 liter? No. 3 Bs? Okay, now you're going to start 4 Bs? Okay, you're not up to 10 liters yet. So 10 liters or less, khalas, you're gonna be drunk. If Allah mabarik, you're an absolute weapon. Okay, it took you 5 liters, but 5 liters you were drunk, khalas. 5 liters or less, you're gonna be intoxicated. You're not even allowed to have a sip. You're not even allowed to have a handful. You're not allowed to have it at all. Wine, okay, wine, the alcohol percentage is much higher than your average B. So if a person was to have, forget 5 liters, if a person was to have 1 liter of wine, they're gone. Okay, they got no idea what your name is. Even if you're their own son. And that's from 1 liter. Khalas, not allowed. Some other lesser percentage alcohol drinks, it may take you 6 liters. It may take you 6 liters to get drunk. But 10 liters or less, not going to get you drunk. 10 liters or more, 10 liters or more, you were to drink something, you're not going to get drunk. Okay? If 10 liters or more, you're not going to get drunk, then it is halal. It is halal. Very common examples in like fruit juices. Very common examples in even some acidic drinks, like Fanta and the like. Some people say there's a dot of alcohol in it. Okay, with the fruit juices, because of the fermentation process, it's going to become naturally alcoholic, whether you like it or not. But it's so minute, that if you were to have 10 liters of apple juice, are you going to die? Maybe diabetes, yes. Alcohol drunk, no. Okay? Fanta. If you were to have 10 liters of Fanta, you're going to get drunk? No. Again, maybe diabetes, possibly, but drunk? No. So it means the alcohol is so minute in it that you are allowed to drink it. Okay? You are allowed to drink it. The fermentation process, this is something that was at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and they used to do it with the fruit juices. They would have water and they would put fruit in it like dates, and they would put honey, okay, for the glucose, for it to give it that to speed up the fermentation process, and they would leave it 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. The Prophet would either give it to someone or they would spill it out, because naturally it's going to start straight away. The alcohol, it's going to be there, but it's so minimal. And then the second day and the third day, by the third day, if you leave it, the alcohol content is going to become stronger. Okay, and that's when it will get to a level where, yes, if you were to have a farak of it, if you were to have 10 liters or more, you would get drunk. That's why they used to drink it straight away, or they would tip it out. So this is something that some people go to extremes in. They go to extremes in it. It could be, for example, with like Tim Tams. This is a while ago, someone seen me having a Tim Tam and they had a heart attack. Sheikh! Allahu Akbar! What's wrong? It's got alcohol in it. Ya Habibi, Ya Habibi, Ya Habib al-Qalb. This thing that you're eating, if you were to have 10 liters of Tim Tams, are you going to get drunk? No. This is halal. Okay? Just so you know, in Australia, I don't know if all Australia or just New South Wales, if something has 0.05% alcohol or less, it's considered a non-alcoholic drink. If something has 0.05% alcohol or less, it's so minute, it's almost non-existent, they don't have to tell you that there's alcohol in it. But a lot of what you drink, it has a drop of alcohol in it. Not because they add the alcohol, but because it comes naturally in the brewing process. Okay, so a lot of the drinks that you drink, the kombuchas, a lot of the fruit drinks that you drink, etc., it's got alcohol in it, but it's so minute, no matter how much you have, it will never affect you. Okay, so you don't get to extremes and misunderstanding what it means to have a little of something that a lot of it will make you drunk. Does this mean that we are allowed to add ourselves alcohol to something? Obviously not. This is not talking about you adding alcohol to something. You're not allowed to add alcohol to anything. You're not allowed to use alcohol. Now, that which is there to get you drunk, wine, beer, whatever it is, you can't add it to food. You can't add it to your cake. You can't add it to a drink to sweeten it up, etc. No, you're not allowed to add it. We're talking about that which comes naturally in the cooking process. طيب. وإن تخللت الخمر طهرت وحلت وإن خللت لم تطهر. If khamr, alcohol or wine, is turned into vinegar by itself, it becomes pure and permissible to consume. However, if it is turned into vinegar by human intervention, it does not become pure. This is a matter of khilaf between the ulama. For those that don't know, vinegar, what was vinegar before it was vinegar? It was wine. Now it's alcoholic. Vinegar, before it becomes vinegar, it's alcoholic. But the process continues until there's no more alcohol in it and it becomes vinegar. Jayyid. Once it's completed the process and it's vinegar and now it's no longer alcoholic, it's not going to intoxicate you. Again, no matter how much you have of it, it becomes halal. Okay, this is a process in which something is something and it becomes something else. Something could be haram, but then during the process it became something else, and so now it becomes halal. An example, they give this in the classical examples. Let's say you've got a big barrel, okay, of salt. Let's say a mouse died and it fell in the salt. And over time, if something is left in the salt, what will it become? It will become salt itself. Okay? So, it being a dead mouse, are you allowed to eat it? No. Over the time, it became part of that salt. You can't differentiate it whatsoever. Are you allowed to eat it now? Yes, you can. Because it's gone from something, now completely different. Okay? Same thing with the vinegar. It was alcoholic. Now it's no longer alcoholic. Why was it haram? Because of the alcohol in it. Is it alcohol anymore? It's not alcoholic anymore. So you're allowed to have it. Okay? Same thing with any rule like that. This also includes very, 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 very common question. I forget what the insect is called. But in the colored lollies and drinks, maybe someone can remind me. Starts with a C. What is it? Cricket, Allah yadik. No. Cochineal or something like that. I forgot the name of it. But very common, especially in the red color. Okay, it makes it the color red, and they put it in like Fantas and Skittles and all these types of things. So it's an insect. It's an insect, and what they do is they crush up that insect and they add it to the food. They add it to the food to give it that red coloring. So some people ask, is it halal for us to eat this? Yes or no? Some people, they make a big deal out of it. Number one, are insects najis or tahir? Insects. You're just saying on a guess, yeah? Okay, good that you're right. Okay, insects, they are tahir. Okay, they are pure. Doesn't mean you're allowed to eat it, but they are pure. Tayyib. Yani now, if you had an ant walking on you and you squashed the ant, okay, and there was like a little dot of guts on your hand, do you have to stop your prayer and go wash it? No, because it's not najis. Okay, or you killed a spider on your thobe and there was a bit of blood on it. It's tahir. Okay, you don't have to go and clean it in order for your prayer to be considered correct, because it's not impure. So number one, these insects, they are tahir, they are pure. Number two, when it's converted from being a dead insect to you eating Skittles or you drinking that Fanta, are you drinking the drink or are you eating the insect? It's completely transformed. It's completely changed. It's called istihala. Okay, it's called istihala. Going from one state to a completely different state. And this is a big difference. So there's no problem with having foods that have that ingredient in it. Okay, completely different.
Mosquito will bite you.
Questions at the end, Haji? We can't break the nidam, sorry. If I do with you, I'm going to get asked from everywhere. Tayyib. So if vinegar is turned by itself from alcohol into vinegar, then it is allowed. However, if it is turned into vinegar by human intervention, it is not pure. This is a matter of khilaf between the scholars. It's a matter of khilaf between the scholars. If someone purposely turned alcohol into vinegar, is it allowed, yes or no? A lot of the ulama, they say no. And this is from a hadith from the Prophet ﷺ, when someone asked if he is allowed to do it. The Prophet ﷺ obviously told him, no, yani, spill it out. The alcohol that you have, spill it out, get rid of it, and break the vessels. The other opinion is that it is allowed, and the Prophet ﷺ was strict with the Muslims. Why? Because what happens when you start making these flexibilities when it comes to alcohol? If people are going to use it, then everyone's going to start using alcohol and storing alcohol and doing business with alcohol. So obviously for the Muslim, he's not allowed to purchase the alcohol, he's not allowed to have the alcohol. So how are you turning alcohol into wine? Okay, how are you turning alcohol into wine? And that's why one of the opinions of the scholars is that it is allowed if the non-Muslims do it, because this is halal for them. So it's allowed if they do it, they turn the alcohol into wine, and you were to purchase it, even through human intervention, then no issue. And this is obviously what we have as a very common opinion from us buying in the way that we purchase and buy and sell nowadays. And even the scholars that were stricter with this opinion, they become easier with this opinion because it's called Muhammad bil balwa. This is something that you can't escape. You go to the shops, you don't know how it was made, but you can be almost 100% sure that this is through human intervention. Otherwise, how did it come to your supermarket? Now, so because you can't avoid it now, it doesn't happen in that natural process. This is why they allow it more. So Allahu Alam, even though if you're living in a Muslim country, 100% Muslims, they're not allowed to turn alcohol into wine because they're not allowed to do with alcohol in the first place. But vinegar, my apologies, jazakumullah khairan. But the Muslims are not allowed to do with the alcohol. So if the wine got turned into vinegar, or the alcohol turned into vinegar through the non-Muslims, and the Muslim border, inshallah azza wa jal, no issue. Tayyib. A very common question. Can we eat at restaurants in which they use alcohol for cooking, but there's no alcohol left in the food after? Okay? You're at a restaurant, the chef, very common for non-Muslim restaurants, for the chef to cook with wine, but they'll tell you that the alcohol, all of it has burnt out as the cooking is being done because of the heat. So this could be not halal from the alcohol perspective, but you've got another problem. What's the other problem? Yeah, but what's the problem? If we say that the alcohol is gone, so we can't say it's haram because of the alcohol. No. No, we're saying let's say it's halal piece of steak, but they're cooked with red wine.
They're cooked with red wine.
You've never eaten a بس خلاص إذا الكحول راحت من من الخمر.
You can't put wine for the sake of the taste.
You can't guarantee.
He's not Muslim. I'm saying.
You can't guarantee it's all gone.
Understand the question. Understand the question. فهم السؤال نصف الجواب. Understanding the question is half the answer. Someone goes to a restaurant and they know that this chef, he cooks with wine. Why aren't, as we Muslims, why aren't we allowed to use that wine? Because it's got what in it? It's got alcohol. So the chef cooks with the wine. Okay? But he tells you that alcohol gets burnt out in the cooking process. Yani by the time I finish cooking, there's no alcohol left. Are we allowed to eat it? Yes or no?
Yes. No. Same as the vinegar. Same.
Why no?
I hate it because of the taste of the alcohol.
The alcohol is gone. Wine by itself is not haram. The wine, because you can get non-alcoholic wine. We're not talking about any wine that by itself, the grapes. It's just grape juice.
I would say we
Now?
can eat it, but it's a trick question. But obviously we can eat it. You're talking about the rest.
No, I'm not saying you can eat it. I'm saying it's haram for a different reason.
Because it's gone from one stage to another, as you were saying.
There is no alcohol in it. That's not the reason why.
Okay. Wine itself, or alcoholic drinks themselves, are they tahir or are they najas? They're najas. Okay? It's rijs, as Allah mentioned in the Quran, which is najas. It's impure. So you're not allowed to use the aslan for cooking because it makes whatever it is impure. And that's the opinion of the four madhahib. This is the opinion of the four madhahib that alcoholic drinks are najas. They are impure. لا حتى أبو حنيفة. الخلاف مع أبي حنيفة رحمه الله بالنبيذ. هو الخمر أو ما يعني تخمر من فواكه معينة. ليس من الخمر بشكل عام. So when we talk about cooking with it, if someone else cooked with it, the problem is it becomes najas in the first place, not just because of the alcohol in it, but because of the whole thing. Okay, so this is another big problem with it. All right, on top of the fact that you shouldn't be comfortable eating in these places that are cooking with alcohol, and you can't be certain that the entirety of the alcohol is cooked and what else is used in it from the utensils that have alcohol and other najasa on it. And we shouldn't be in this place in the first place. But even if they say that the alcohol is completely removed, but on the opinion that it is impure, which is the form of madhahib, then you've got a big problem with the food becoming now impure. Before we move on, you've got the word najas and you've got the word najis. إنما المشركون najas with a fatha on the jim. What's the difference between najas and najis?
Najis for a human being, najis for animal.
نجس for human being, نجس for animal. يعني بمعنى
خلاص فرق
نجس ينجس غيره يعني؟
نجس ينجس غيره. يعني إذا أنت سلمت على كافر الآن يجب أن تغسل يدك.
جميل.
أجمل.
على العكس؟
أنا ما كنت شيئا. Najas, إنما المشركون najas. Allah says verily the disbelievers are impure. Using the word najas, he's talking about spiritual impurity. And najas al-ma'nawiyya. Spiritually they're wrong. For them to believe that there's no Allah or for them to associate partners with Allah. This is a spiritual impurity. This is a deficiency within their own self and their belief. Najis is physical, it's hissi. Physical impurity. Okay, like blood, feces, urine, akramakumullah, and other things. Allahu Akbar. How are your energy levels the first day back?
Enough.
Enough?
We have too many questions.
طيب, we'll delay inshallah the particular animals. So this is to do with that which is not animals. We'll continue with the actual animals next week, inshallah azza wa jal. Allahumma musta'an. It's not hard, but yani, some people, first lesson back, they just need to relax, inshallah. هذا والله أعلم صلى الله محمد وعلى آله محمد صحبه أجمعين. Any questions, brothers? تفضل. حاج تفضل محمد.
الشيخ
خلاص أبو أيمن أخذ.
نجس.
نعم.
ولا لا؟
لا. المؤمن لا ينجس.
اللي بسين الكلب.
الحيوانات.
مثلا شفتها بالشارع. في تتقلع وتشتغل عجنة؟ وانا نسي يعني؟
النجاسة ما معناتها انه هذا الشيء نجس. طبعا فيك تشيله، بس اذا اجى شيء من الحيوان على ايدك مثل دم، شو بدك تعمل؟ بس تغسله. بس انه تزيحه نو بروبلم.
اذا ناشف. معلش.
معلش.
والبيرة اللي هيدي اللي عم يبيعوها ما فيها كحول. بيقولوا فيها نسبة بسيطة.
ما انا سبحان الله نسيت اذكر هذا المثال بالضبط، بس معظم كلياته نفس الشيء. بيكون اقل من 0.05% من الكحول.
يعني في الواحد يشرب.
صحتين على البال.
بالنسبه للشيء للانسكت، انت قالت انه اذا طلع منها دم، اذا انت عملت بايدك هذا جواتها الدم تبع منه
نجس.
بس بحال البعوضه اللي بتلعسك هون وبتحط لك بتفرم ايدك هيك، هذا منه سم منه؟
حتى لو سم منه نجس بحد ذاته، منه نجس.
بس مثلا البويزن تبع منه عم يضرك.
قضية مضرة ما مضرة هذا مختلف عن نجاسة. يعني هلا مثلا جيب سم الأفاعي، واحد حط على ايده، نجس بحد ذاته، منه نجس. فطبعا ما تخليه مشان ما تموت، بس انه نجس منه نجس. اذا اجى على الثياب مثلا so نجس، you don't have to wash it off.
Is there a difference between wine and alcohol, or they are the same? So
Wine is a type of alcohol.
Okay.
Wine is a drink and it's got alcohol in it. And that's why you got wine that is not alcoholic. Because it's just the way that they cook it, and some of it, they leave it brewing in the fermentation process, the wine goes up, and other times they stop it straight away, so you have the flavor of grape juice, but it's not alcoholic. But whenever you say wine, the common understanding is wine with alcohol. That's the common understanding. The one with alcohol, the alcohol, not the wine. Alcohol. So if the wine has alcohol in it, it's najis.
So, for example, using alcohol swabs in medical context, how does it work?
Because it's not prepared for drinking. This is like chemical, like ethanol, but it's not prepared for drinking. This is a very common question. Everything that has alcohol in it, whether it's cleaning products, perfumes, etc., because it's not prepared for drinking, and this, if a person wants to try and have any of this, they will die. So this, the ulama said, this is different from that which is prepared for drinking, like your khumur and your birat and the like. They said this is not najis. Yeah. بس ما بتستعمل المشروب، بتستعمل للطب. مع انه even though classic in the before all of these, the usage of alcohol the way it's used now, a lot of them, they were much stricter. A lot of the opinions of the ulama were much stricter when it came to any type of alcohol. The ones that say alcohol is najis, they said any type of alcohol, and they were much stricter. But now, because of the chemicals and the process of it, how easily separated it is. And before it used to be the fermentation process. Now they don't make those cleaning products through the fermenting fruit. So it's not alcohol, like an alcoholic drink at all, completely separate.
So what about mouthwash and stuff like that?
Yeah, fine, no problem. But they're saying they're separate. That which is not prepared for drinking, like beer, alcohol, spirits, etc., no. That which is chemical, like perfumes, wipes, etc., sanitizers, no issue.
But I've seen on like one of the other videos on the TV or whatever, someone's been caught on the radar on the breath test, and he told the cop he had like mouthwash in the morning, and he actually like.
Yeah, but then they'll go to the police station and they'll do a urine test and they'll say that he's got no alcohol in his system.
Or blood alcohol.
Yeah, or the blood.
How about
Gelatin, will come to it next week about the hayawanat. But if it's in the food, not allowed because it hasn't gone through the istihala process because it's still present.
All gelatin.
The problem is, does it leave the food, yes or no? يعني هل الجيلاتين اللي انت بتحطه هل اثناء الطبخ بيترك اللي انت طبخته ولا لا؟ يعني باخر شيء موجود او منه موجود؟ هون المشكله. هون المشكله ومعظمهم بيقولوا السام موجود يعني بالنتيجه الاخيره السام موجوده. That's the problem with gelatin.
في كثير نوع اللي عم نشتريه مكتوب على جيلاتين، هذا ما فينا نشتريه.
لا. My advice for anyone, if it says gelatin on it, unless it's halal gelatin or vegetable gelatin, stay away from it.
Istihala here doesn't apply.
It does. No, istihala does apply. But they're saying, like a lot of the scientists that I listened to, they said that the gelatin at the end of the product is still there. That the gelatin didn't go.
But the gelatin, so you mean that the gelatin is still gelatin?
Yeah, the gelatin is still present in the food. It hasn't changed from gelatin to something else. It's still there in the final product.
What you're saying is alcohol, when they cook with it at a certain temperature, it
Burns.
is flammable. However, gelatin, even when it's cooked at a certain temperature, it remains
In the
present
food.
Chef, what's the ruling on going to a restaurant where they sell halal food, but they also sell alcohol?
Don't sit there. Don't sit in that restaurant unless you're completely separate from the alcohol. Like,
Is it horrible?
yeah. And if you, like, for example, they're inside and they got alcohol, and you're outside completely separate, or there's like a private room where you can go in and you're completely separate. But to be surrounded by the alcohol on the tables around you, this is not good.
What about, beef gelatin?
Unless it's halal, same thing, not allowed.
But sometimes they've only mentioned beef gelatin on the package.
Stay away until you're sure. What?
And they say this is beef gelatin and this is halal. And then different shop, it says beef gelatin, it doesn't say
The same lolly?
yeah.
The same packet? Like same company? Brother, if it's different companies, then you can't take one halal and from another company. Like marshmallows, for example, some companies will use halal gelatin, other companies will use different gelatin. So you can only go off what you know is halal. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Because gelatin is taken from animals, okay? Maybe from their fat, I can't remember. But it's used as an ingredient to keep the lolly soft. So hard lollies, they don't have gelatin in it. You need it to keep like marshmallows or soft lollies. It's there to keep it soft. So they use it, and the easiest thing to get it from is obviously pig, because it's so cheap and so freaking disgusting, subhanAllah. So they use it mainly from pig, and that's why it's a problem. A lot more companies are making sure like they use halal gelatin. A lot of like the Muslim countries, the gelatin there obviously is halal, and a lot of other companies, especially for vegans, they use vegetable gelatin.
Just confirming, did you say 0.05% is what? Less than that is...
No, I'm saying by Australian standards, or at least in New South Wales, anything that's 0.05% or less alcohol content is considered non-alcoholic. It's considered non-alcoholic. So in it, a lot of times there is still alcohol in it. But I'm just saying that a lot of the Muslims that freak out that, oh, you can't have this because it's got alcohol in it. A lot of what you have has alcohol in it. But it's so minute, it's overlooked.
So say if brands like the big beer brands, they make non-alcoholic beers, right? And if the content is really low, can you have it?
Yeah, if it's non-alcoholic, like 0.05 or less, yeah.
But it has to be less than 0.05.
It doesn't have to be less than 0.05. It has to be 10 liters or less will not intoxicate. So if you were to have, I don't know what the number is, but let's just say, I'm just giving you a hypothetical number. Let's say 1% alcohol content. If the average person was to have 10 liters or less, he won't get drunk. Then it would be halal. But let's just say 1.5 liters. If a person was to have a drink, 1.5 liters, 10 liters or less, he'll get drunk, then it would be haram. I don't know the exact number. But I'm using...
Before having 10 liters, how do you know?
Okay. Anything that's non-alcoholic, you're not going to get drunk off it. Simple as that. For them to mention it's got alcohol in it, then don't drink it. But if it doesn't say it's got alcohol, then happy days. Go for gold, inshallah.
بيحسبوا ازاي؟ يعني الشخص average يعني average؟
Yeah, the average person. The vanilla essence is alcoholic. This is a problem. Vanilla essence is it's alcoholic, so people are not allowed to cook with it. Wallahu alam. And they can get what do you call it? They can get different not alternatives. Maybe I'm forgetting the word. They can get different options that it's still vanilla, but it's not alcoholic. Yeah, the powder form is a common option. But the essence itself is alcoholic. So not allowed to cook with it. So another common one is what's the sauce? Soy sauce. Barbecue. Another common one is oyster sauce. Soy sauce. Okay? In soy sauce you have some with very high alcohol content, and you can see on the label. It says, like, for example, 6-7% alcohol. These ones you're not allowed to use. Okay, the ones like with like minimal alcohol, like 0.5% or something like that, no issue, inshallah. But the ones high alcohol content, not allowed to be used.
So, Sheikh, a lot of brothers are doing the delivery services for DoorDash and Uber. So, are they allowed to, like, they don't know what's inside? So, any ruling about that?
Yeah, when you know that the majority of food that you're going to be delivering is haram, you're not allowed to be working in that delivery service. And in an area like Wollongong, they know that the majority of what they're going to be delivering is haram. They know that. It's different when you live in a very high Muslim area and 99% of or 90% of what you're delivering is halal. And you know it's halal. And when you live in an area where 90% of what you know is delivering is haram. Allah Azza wa Jalla tells us that we are not allowed to assist on with haram. So as long as it's haram for others, we're not allowed to assist with it.
We said cooking with like toxic liquids is haram completely. Like, why doesn't this apply? Why doesn't this apply to things like Tim Tams, lollies, and juice, as you said? Because obviously at one point it was cooked with.
No. These things aren't cooked with alcohol.
So how's it going to?
In the process of making it, it naturally becomes alcoholic. So you know when you like eat an apple or a banana and it starts to go brown, that's what's the term? It's fermentating, if I'm not mistaken. That's becoming alcoholic. That brown part is becoming alcoholic. Yeah.
Not at that stage.
That's right, but it's becoming. The process has started. The process has started. So like as you cook a lot of things, naturally it will be so small. But if you leave it, it gets much worse. So a lot of in these processes, in the process itself, the alcohol is building. That's why we said the Prophet ﷺ would drink the first, second, and third day, and then that's it.
Buy an orange juice bottle and leave it for.
Yeah, you taste the difference.
Will naturally change its state and become.
Even you know kombucha. Okay, so there was a thing. I don't want to cause waswas now, but there was a thing a few years ago, or a couple of years ago, that with kombucha, the way it was being stored, it increased the alcohol content because heat causes the fermentation. So it comes out of the factory, it's not alcoholic. It gets stored in warehouses and the like. And if it's not stored properly, or even if it's stored properly, but it's being affected by heat, the fermentation process continues. And so the alcohol content goes up. And so there was a bit of a thing in the news. I'm not saying don't drink kombucha. There was a thing in the news about, is there false advertising? Do they need to relabel, etc., etc., etc.? It's like a couple years ago.
This is odd question, it's all about fermentation, but water, is that like...
You're allowed to drink as much water as you want.
You can't, like...
Be careful, because you can drown yourself by drinking a lot of water. Our water's not going to go off like that. No.
It's not.
They add things to it, like especially fruit, and then they keep it sitting there in the process, then it becomes alcoholic later on. Any other questions, brothers? Going once?
Not related to the topic.
Yeah, general questions too.
Okay, so I finished work at 3:30, so I missed Salat al-Asr here. I missed it here. Is it better for me to come and pray here and maybe pray with someone else, or just pray by myself?
It's up to you.
Doesn't
The
matter.
choice is yours.
Nothing's better.
Obviously, in the masjid in general, or in jama'ah, jama'ah is always better. For a person to pray in jama'ah, whether it's at home, at work, at the masjid, it's always better. But if you don't know, like you're just going to come and hope to have someone here, whether you came to the masjid or at home, no issue, Allah, either way, Allah.
I found the name of the insect. Cochineal.
Cochineal, yeah. Any other questions, shabab? Done? Finished? سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.